What's going on YouTube? This is Ribo back at the Fake Bench, and today I have a fairly quick head-to-head video of these two Sebenzas. And really it's not going to be a typical head-to-head. I'm not going to, rate these or anything against each other, but really I'm just going to talk about these two knives, which one's for me, and how I came to those conclusions. But a quick story first. So I was not really a Chris Reeve person not that long ago. I had tried them out, did a video review, and kind of said these are really nice knives, but they're very expensive and they're not really for me. And so I didn't own either one of these, and I didn't own any Chris Reeve, didn't really have any intention to own one. But I turned 30 and I've kind of thought about my experience carrying the Chris Reeve, and I thought, hey, maybe it'd be fun to buy kind of a nice knife to celebrate. And so I purchased this from a friend. And this is the Sebenza 31. And this is the small version, and I absolutely fell in love with this knife. It basically became my daily carry. I never looked back, and I fell in love with it for a couple reasons. Number one, the ceramic ball detent on the 31s I really love. I don't care about the lock rock issues personally. The only time I notice that is if I'm trying to force it, and so to me it's just not that big of a deal. But I love the smoothness of that. I just love the overall utility and simplicity. And so I just really fell in love with this knife. And unfortunately, that kind of was the tripping point into the black hole of Chris Reeve. And now I own this guy, I own this guy, and I own this guy. Now, I'll probably slim down this collection, and in a lot of ways, that's probably what this video is about. But I just wanted to share kind of a backstory that I have not been a CRK mega head for very long, but I am quickly becoming one. So I knew that after I got the small 31, that I was going to want a large version. And so I started looking for a large Sebenza. And I was looking and looking, and I was kind of looking for a configuration that I really wanted, and I wanted to try the Insingo blade, which honestly I think would work even better on a small Sebenza. But I love the profile and the looks of this, and I think the utility on the drop point is there. So I found this one and ordered this. I had it sent for spa treatment. It actually ended up replacing the blade on it and doing some work, and basically got it restored to factory condition. And so I've been carrying this for a while. And then I saw a very good deal on the large 21 plain Jane version, and so I just had to jump on it so that I could do a comparison of the two, kind of make my decision on which one's for me. So this was also my first, besides my kind of temporarily carrying it, these are my first 21s that I've owned. So it was also giving me an opportunity to kind of see if I really love the ceramic ball detent, or if I, would like kind of the classic frame lock here. So I own both of these now. I've carried both of these a little bit, and so I want to talk just a little bit about kind of what my decision is and kind of what my thoughts are. So first of all, I'll just say I actually really like the plain Jane. I fell in love with it here. It's obviously going to show a lot more wear, as you can see. I mean, this is a well-loved knife, and will only get more and more beat up. But there's something about the plain Jane that is just very simple, and it's utilitarian. I think the design is really beautiful, but it's a worker knife, and I like that a lot. And so I was a little bit concerned with the inlays, that they kind of take away some of that. Also adds quite a bit to the cost, so I wasn't quite sure about that. But as I've carried this, I've actually come to really enjoy the inlays. I personally prefer the inlays on the 21. I like the split here, and I like the asymmetry. I'm sure that I would like the 31s as well, but I actually really like the way that these look. And as a guy who is typically, my whole channel is kind of created around this woodworking theme. I love wood. I love the idea of wood inlays, and I love, especially on a very nice knife. I think they look better. I think, there's a lot of reasons that I would like a wood inlay Sebenza. However, for me, knives are primarily tools. They are for utility. I don't really own knives just to keep around because they look nice or because the action's nice. I want something that's going to work. And so for me personally, the micarta version is the most practical inlay version that there is. The wood is beautiful, but if it chips out, it chips out. And if it's going to need to be maintained and cared for. And especially in the South where everything's sweaty and there's a lot of moisture, caring for wood inlays is going to be a lot more involved than this. There are also some warranty things that are limited if you have the wooden inlay version in terms of some of the things that you can do, like blasting the handle materials and whatnot. And so the micarta is actually a very, very practical choice, and I think that it will age well and stand up to use. So I like it from a utility standpoint. I do think that it also adds a decent bit of grip. It doesn't have quite the tactile feel that the plain Jane version have, and that is honestly one of the things that I really like about the plain Jane is that I think the blasting on the titanium is so nice. But it does wear away, and over time you do need to get it reblasted if you want to keep that. So that is one kind of advantage to the plain Jane, but I do think that may be one reason that the micarta inlay might wear a little bit slower than the plain Jane, because you just have less exposure to the titanium there. Apart from that, a lot of this is looks. There's something really cool about the look of this. I think it looks really, really nice in lots of different light. You have that nice micarta, those lines exposed there. And so I think it's just a really nice looking knife. For both of these, I've really, really enjoyed this Insingo blade. This has become one of my favorite blades, to be honest. I mean, I like a good drop point, but I've always been partial to kind of cleaver style blades, or just, kind of blades that come down to a point like this. And I think the Insingo is a fantastic mix of both coming down to a nice point, giving you a really nice swedge right here that gives you nice piercing capability. It comes down really, really thin here, which is something you miss a lot of times if you have like full cleaver style blades. But you've got a very nice grind, really, really thin down here. Overall, just really, really perfect for a lot of just typical everyday carry needs. And so it's an excellent slicer, it's an excellent box cutter, etc. So I really like the Insingo. There's something about the Insingo blade that I think would work exceptionally well on a Sebenza, and that's probably me just justifying a future Sebenza purchase. But I do think that the Insingo blade would work really, really well on a small version. Apart from that, though, I think these are, it's the same knife, right? It's just the inlays. And so as I've carried it a little bit, part of me says that I could have a matching knife here. And that's definitely something pretty cool. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the micarta version. There's just something that's really, really nice looking about the micarta. It dresses it up a little bit. It's something a little bit different. And for me, it's going to be a workhorse. And so I want something that's going to stand up a little bit. And both of these are definitely going to do that. But for me, I think the comfort of the inlays here, the fact that they are micarta, they're not wood, it does kind of obfuscate the titanium access here, which is nice in some ways. And it just looks really, really nice. For me, the answer is going to be micarta. They're both excellent knives. I could not recommend the Sebenza and Insingo anymore. Probably the only thing I'm going to change is I want to try out a 31, and maybe I'll justify a large 31 purchase in the future. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.